Hi friends, here is my February last now next. Before we get into that, I'm Jamae. Uh, I showcase the joys of women's sports and reading. In today's video, as I said, it's going to be about my last now next of February. I'm thinking I'm going to do this every month, because I feel like I'm not telling y'all enough about the stuff that I'm reading. And this feels like a low key way to do that. So this is started. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the point. Also, don't jump me for this presentation. I just threw this together in like 5 seconds. Shout out to Canva, the free Canva, by the way. Anyway, let's see if I know how to work this. All right. The last book that I just finished was Flirting Lessons by Jasmine Guillory. It's basically about these two women. One's Avery, one's Taylor. Avery is the bisexual woman. She never really dated men. I mean, never really dated women before. And she's like, doesn't know how to approach women. And then Taylor, on the other hand, is like, everybody loves Taylor. Like, Taylor gets the girls. She's the one. So basically, they meet each other, and Taylor is like, Avery's like, yeah, I need somebody to teach me how to flirt. And Taylor's like, yeah, I'll do it. Really random encounter, but it was super fun, super cute, super relatable. Guys, I was like, damn, is Avery me? Maybe. But yeah, it was super fun read. I really enjoyed it. Also, y'all know Jasmine Guillory is one of like my favorite authors. She just, the way she writes about romance just does something for me, and it's not, I feel like more recently, and see, I'm trying not to go on too many tangents, but I gotta get this out. More recently, like, I've been reading a lot more sapphic books, and I do love sapphic books, and I want to keep reading them, but Jasmine usually writes for the heterosexuals, and I still enjoy them. But anyway, this one was well written. It was not like her usual books, because this one was much more spicy. I'm like, dang, are the queers really this sexual? Maybe. That's not a topic I'm gonna dive into. Anyway, I thought it was fun, and additionally, because I love Jasmine Guillory, one of my reading goals is to read her whole catalog, and I found out that I only have technically one more book. I also found out she has a new book coming out at the end of in October 2026. So now I'm like, I need to read the other one, which is Drunken Love. I need to read Drunken Love, and then her new book is called Dancing. It's Just Dancing. And it seems like these stories are also interconnected, despite it not. They seem interconnected in the same way the Wedding Date series is interconnected, even though I don't think that's ever been mentioned anywhere. But I can tell by the names of the characters in the other books that they're in the same universe. So I'm excited for that, and so I'm gonna go back and read it. And I think I need to read Drunk on Love or Drunk in Love. I don't know which one it is. Before it comes to before the other one comes out. Hopefully, I'll try to get an arc of it. But it's really hard to get arcs of Jasmine Guillory's books. I don't know. I might gotta find somebody, but because I do need that. I do need that. Anyway, yeah. So the last book I read was Flirting Lessons. What I'm reading now. I'm reading two books now. The first one is The Great. I always skip great when I say this title. The Great Disillusionment of Nick and Jay. It's a Great Gatsby's meets Harlem Renaissance retelling. And not spoiler alert, but I've never read The Great Gatsby, so I cannot tell y'all if it's a good remake, retelling, whatever. But I'm kind of enjoying it. It's interesting because I feel like I'm starting to read books where I'm like, the way that it's written and the punctuation that's used, I'm like, is this character? This is maybe the second time I've done this. The other time was Sprinting Spectacular Crash and Burn. I'm like, is this character neurodivergent? It doesn't say it, but it feels like Nick might be a little bit on the spectrum. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's so far it's interesting. It starts off with uh, the Greenwood riots in Oklahoma, and now Nick is in Harlem, and it's a lot happening. Obviously, I'm sure it's very similar to the actual Great Gatsby, but I can't confirm that because I've never read it. Um, Moving on, the other book that I'm reading is this Nonviolent Stuff Will Get You Killed, and it's exactly what the title suggests. It's talking about how violence made nonviolence possible, and I haven't really read a lot into it, but the forward, not the forward, the introduction and the prologue were very good. And I don't really read a lot of nonfiction where the intro and the prologue are good, so I have high hopes for the rest of this. Um, I'm reading this with my book club so I can kind of pace myself, but I feel like when I be dragging my feet, I really struggle to get through books, so I might try to aim to finish this by the end of March, but we'll see. The next book that I want to read is Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. Shout out to my friend Tori. Um, they said they had this book, and I told them that I would read it with them, and then I kind of forgot about the book. Um, so now I feel bad, and I need to read it, even though Tori is probably not worried about me. I'm worried about them. So we're gonna try to read Martyr. When I got this book, I bought this book in Philly actually, and I read the first page, and I was like, dang, this is very well written. Like I'm kind of engrossed into what you're saying. Um, Especially since it like starts off with him basically having a trip, like a drug trip. So I don't really know where it's gonna go, but I'm starting to enjoy um care not even I don't want to say enjoy, but I feel like I'm getting more books with Iranian characters, and so it's really cool to kind of get a peek into that culture. So Martyr will be next. It's also like one of those like um, it's not a bestseller. It was on a long list for one of those things. And I did say one day I would read books from the long list just to see how good they are, because I assume they have to be good to get on there, but I don't know for sure because I've never read too many of them. And I think this one was on the 2023 list. So we'll, I have high hopes for it, to be honest. Um, the next book that I'm going to read is These Heathens by Mia McKenzie. I met a new friend recently who has the exact same book taste as me, and I want to tell y'all more about that, but actually I am because it's on my mind. Um, I met somebody with the exact same book taste as me, and I feel a little silly, goofy because I'm like, why is this such an giddy feeling for me? But I think it's mostly because it's something I've never experienced before. Like I feel like usually when I meet people, um, the books they've read are either white or popular black books, and it's nothing wrong with either of those categories of books. I try to get into some of it where I can, but it's just like no, it's just really hard. I don't know, and it feels like I feel like I don't read things that are niche, but it do be feeling niche when I'm like, oh, have you heard of this book or have you heard of that book? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So it was really cool to meet this person who had the same reading taste as me, and they read These Heathens recently, and they was like they love this. They also love Mia McKenzie's first book, Sky Falling, which was also on my list for a long time. So I'm kind of excited to get into this one. I'm also starting to I also want to start reading more sapphic books in general, because I think about sapphic books, I'm always thinking about romance, but like gay people live regular lives. Like there are whole people who experience life outside of just their sexuality. And so I really want to just read more books that where sapphic people are existing, and I think These Heathens is kind of up that alley. It's supposed to be, as you can see on the screen, 1960s Georgia. Girl needs an abortion, and she finds the queer community from that. Um, and so I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see how this character navigates queerness and understanding queerness in a time period where queerness isn't really accepted. So that's exciting. I'm excited for that. And like I said, I'm trying to read more sapphic books because I feel like I've enjoyed them more. I could be making that up, or I could just be reading really good ones. But I feel like I've enjoyed them more, um, and so I feel like I need to put them more into my diet. And two, I feel like there's not like millions of them, so it doesn't feel never ending. Even if it was, I would still read them, but it feels like a list I could tackle. So I'm excited for that. That's the next book I read. I'm gonna read, and that's the last of my February. Now next, if I could speak. Like I said, I'm trying to do this every month. This graphic will get better. I just pulled a random one from Canva. So yeah, the graphic will look a little different next time. Um, and yeah, honestly, one more thing I want to say, I did last year. I did not meet my nonfiction reading goal, which most of y'all probably know already because I've said it a few times. Um, and I want to be better about that. I actually want to hit the. I actually want to hit it this year. The goal is 12 nonfiction books, and I feel like that should not be that hard. You know what I mean? Like I could read some poetry. I could read some memoirs. I could read some essays. Like I have nonfiction has a variety. I don't know why I can't hit it. I don't even say I can't hit it. I don't know why I'm not hitting it. So in the future, I'm gonna try to plan out my nonfiction books. It's actually crazy because I've had two of them on my list for months, and they are so short reads. Like they're literally both like less than 150 pages, and I'm just like, girl, take a weekend and read them. Concept, what a concept. Anyway, stop dragging this on. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.